What's up, YouTube? Jeffy, I am. Welcome to OK, let's talk about it. There's some things I wanted to cover today, so we're going to jump straight into it, right? I'm not going to talk about the economy. I'm not going to talk about, you know, the things that are going on in the news right now. What I want to talk about is like family legacy. I believe family is something that's not promoted nowadays more, especially in the black community. From our upbringing, some of us we had tight knit families. It's not like that nowadays. It's pretty much every man for themselves. So it just made me think about this K-shaped economy we lived in, and people don't understand what that is. But this economy feels rigged to me. And when me, hitting bumping my head on 50 years old, it made me start thinking about some long term, goals. And I've been gainfully employed until my brain injury, right? And I got things going on, and I make a pretty good living. But when you sit down and think about it, it's about your family. And for me, still having my mother and father, they're both hitting almost 90 now, it makes you think about things, and it puts a lot of things in perspective. And for me, having my brain injury, my life changed completely. And I had to learn how to live. The life I knew didn't exist anymore. But other than that, everything is good. But one thing that kept me going are my children. And I believe family legacy is something that needs to be discussed more instead of beating ourselves up over things that we did that we don't feel that we was, we feel like we failed our children sometimes. But well, let's celebrate the good things and the positive things we get from our children. You know, people use words like boots on the ground. I don't really too much get into that because to me, that involves stagnant wages, rise in house costs, housing costs, and a labor market that at this time it really don't employ black workers as it should. I have six kids. I have five girls and one son. I have five that are in their 20s and one who will be 18 this year. So all that stuff matters to me. And with this election, I understand people voted emotionally instead of really voting how they should have. And me, myself, I voted. This is the first real election that I was really involved in. And I looked at both sides to benefit myself. And I didn't vote for the orange man. The soft landing that he promised, it never happened. It was a soft landing for those at the top, leaving the middle and lower income families to try to navigate this turbulence in 2025 going into 2026. And it's very, very, very small margin for error. And with that being said, that's when we look into our kids. I live in a small town, and for those that are people of color, when I go out the house, I like to be dressed accordingly. I like to represent something that they don't normally see, to represent who I am, because I am a father. I am someone's son, and I'm over 50. But when we think about our children, let's get into this, right? I'm just rambling, so let me land. you know, I have one son, and I tried to teach him how to be a man. When he entered this world, I tried to do all I can to give him the tools and to get to the next level. And it's not about masculinity and strength or being, most of the stereotypes of being they portray us as being tough, ignorant, and whatnot. I try to teach, especially my son, the clarity of vision, so he can put his dreams, ideas into motion. It's okay to fail because you can do it again. You can try it again. And having five daughters, and I have three grandchildren, and one thing I take pride in is teaching my daughters that their brilliance and who they are is a natural source. They do it naturally. My life and how I live my life, my kids don't really know my life. They know daddy went to work. And I think that's something that people should really practice and look into because you don't want to pass on bad habits. And yes, I do have, I wasn't a perfect man, but we all have time to work on something. But it's like when it comes to your children, you protect your children like in your peace, like a tangible asset. The world we live in, it profits off outrage and struggle, and the stereotypes are often pointed at us. When social media opens doors for everybody to have that same stereotype, you know, being humble, being joyful, being stable. To me, that's the ultimate act of rebellion. And what I'm learning is my children see that and they've took that in a positive way. I remember going to my children's school and speaking, and you'd be surprised how many teachers and principals tell you, well, not a lot of fathers coming here at all. And that says a lot. Not a lot of black fathers, not a bunch of white fathers, not a bunch of Hispanic fathers, period. Because I was interested and I wanted to know what was going on with my child. But the future we have right now is for those who build it. And for me, I'm gonna leave that in the hands of my children and everything I can do to accompany their dreams. So all right. I just wanted to share that with you because today is Friday. Enjoy your life. If you're off this weekend, enjoy your weekend. Spend some time with your family. Or if you need some time to yourself, take that time to think, recharge, and assess what you're going to do this week. So be aware, be informed, and please be safe. We'll talk again in a minute.